This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your live market chat, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday, March 26th, 2024. That was a mouthful. Hopefully you're doing well. Looking at a possible turnaround Tuesday scenario. Just wanted to hang out here for like an hour, open this up to questions, whether it's trading, market strategies, ideas, thought processes, what's going on in the world, real estate trends, what to expect coming up. I mean, it's looking interesting. Again, market's kind of gotten in this chop zone, sloppy, choppy. I don't know. I'd call it just paradigm where you're going into the end of the month, end of the quarter. I don't know for sure anything other than it's going to get probably a little weird here in a little bit. And a little bit meaning maybe today, I don't know. Last day of the month is obviously on Easter. If I remember correct, market is closed Good Friday. So is it today, tomorrow, or is it when we get back? Your guess is as good as mine. So if you have any questions, check out the Discord room. The link is in the description below. If you want to meet up, chat, here's my Calendly link. Let me copy and paste it. Do not hesitate, whether it's, again, trading, real estate, buying, selling, investing, thoughts, need help. Here for you guys. Again, just take 30 minutes. Let's chat it up. See how I can help you. Again, in the Discord room, kind of quiet. I mean, it feels like Groundhog's Day. I feel like Bill Murray. I don't know. It's like things are just what they are. But we'll get into it. But just be thoughtful of the markets going into the end of the quarter, end of the month. If you have any questions, 18th largest. Hit me up. So, sorry, hold on one second. Someone is calling. I'll call you later. So what do we know, right? We know durable orders came in, I don't know, stronger than we thought. GDP's coming out on Thursday, Chicago PMI, a bunch of pending home sales. Again, you don't really get a big jump until when, right? Next week, you get the jobs number. So, and a lot of, we're paying attention to this stuff because I think a lot of people, this whole thing, what's going on in Baltimore, it's a little sketchy. Just call it what it is. I don't know what's going on, but the major ports in this country, I mean, it seems like, again, we talked about how they're just, all these crises tend to come out of nowhere, but then they seem to make sense for what's going on. And what I mean, like, what's going on is like, I don't know how to sound. It's like, again, people take this politically. It just seems like the narratives fit. Like, oh, the economy's not great because of this. We were dealing with this kind of crap. And it's like, there's always something going on. That's the irony here. And so bottlenecks, whether it's in the Middle East, now our ports are going to have issues. I don't know. The Baltimore port is a huge one. So how's that going to affect inflation? I mean, again, we've talked about it. The Feds are, in my opinion, shite out of luck. So, all right. Let's just keep pushing through it. If you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room. Appreciate it. Check out the website, the new updated website. It's looking good, keeping fresh. Any questions about anything on it, hit me up. Also, too, make sure you check and you're following the Twitter because I'm always dropping my trades there. And unfortunately, I've said this 1,000 times. I'll put this in the chat. X stopped updating to Discord, which was sad because I used to post all of my trades right in here. They stopped doing it. So follow on the Twitter. Also, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I appreciate it. So, anyway, hold on one second. Okay, so what do we know going into May meeting? Not anything really going on. June is when they're expecting a cut. Why are they expecting cuts? Again, I don't know. It's interesting because inflation in my mind is sticky icky. At this point, I don't know. Be careful. That's all I'm going to say. Bitcoin, just again, make sure it's refreshed. Eat fresh, refresh. Oh, it always does this now. I apologize. It'll take me 2 seconds to fix this back. Okay, if you got any comments, thoughts, do not hesitate to reach out, interrupt. We talked about holding the 61,000, needing to get over 67, 68. This is interesting action, right? Like, you got to zoom out. You're holding over the highs, which again, it's good if you're bullish. Going to end the quarter, I mean, look, this has been a pretty solid quarter. Zoomer. We'll see if this holds up. I know everyone's like talking about in the Bitcoin halving and all this. It's like it's split, right? Like, do splits really actually create more value? No, it just makes things cheaper. Oil, we've talked about, it's holding up pretty damn well. And this has got to be killing the feds, right? The feds cannot like this. I mean, personally, I don't like it. Who wants to pay higher gas prices, right? We'll see what happens. Natty gas, we talked about. I mean, this could be, what is it doing? The UNG again. This product has, I guess the future, was it a rollover maybe? I haven't been paying attention. Natural gas, like the actual spot price. But yeah, I don't think there's much downside. Must be a rollover. The gaps. Big gaps, hard to find. Yeah, you guys get it. And so again, if you're looking at natural gas, just be thoughtful. That's all I would say on that. Just be thoughtful. All right, let's jump into it. The dollar, we talked about holding up pretty well. Feds like that. TLT stuck in the Fed day range. I talk about this in the daily market review. Like, here's this candle here, and it needs to get over it. If it can't get over it, you've got problems. The dollar, we talk about holding up. VIX, this is where it gets interesting, right? Like, look at the VIX. Fills the gap, fills this gap, fills almost every gap. We'll see. There's the last one at 1224. Does it hit? I was kind of watching that today, and I'm like, really? Question mark? Really? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine near term. SPY, every day gaps up, every day it pops up, closes. Look at this action. The volume is just dying. They are just crushing the volatility. That's tough to watch. Qs, we talked about. This looks like a double topper, but chopping around. Tight action. Volume just, which is interesting because this time of year you should have volume. This isn't the summer. IWM, lower highs, opened up. It's kind of giving it back, but again, volume just, dude. Gold. This one's interesting to me because, again, I don't trust this breakout over the highs, but it is chopping around, so you got to give it credit where credit's due. It's tough to watch because silver says no. Silver says no, I don't want none of that breakout. Gold, I don't want any of your breakout. I don't want none of that. Yeah, okay, we get it. GDX and the miners, that's the thing. We talked about double bottom if you wanted to buy down here. And now it's just getting really choppy and sloppy up here. But these things have been such dogs. And again, we've talked about the best time is the Feds pivot. And the Feds will pivot once the market probably gets throttled. Not probably, but will, right? Oh, man, it's just big choppy ranges. They're really hard trades to really dial into. We could go through them, but I just continue to watch Newmont. And I'm like, look at this thing. This thing should be in the 60s, the 70s. You do the math. Again, I don't know what they did wrong with their balance sheet and what they did with the stock, but it's crazy to think that this thing has just been burnt toast, just living down here in the dirt. Dirty. Dirty. Your guess, good as mine. So keep me posted what you guys think about gold and the miners. I'm just curious because a lot of people are getting excited about it. I'm like, man, I just don't have it. XOP. Again, we're talking about watching the oil and gas names. Here's oil service juniors. This area is going to be a boss. It's not going to easily rub through there. Occidental's been lagging, right? We talk about some of the big ones. Not even in the Buffett sell zone. ExxonMobil hits that 115 plus area. Fills the gap here. Let me draw that gap because it was pretty interesting. Notice that it just filled it, got over it, and was negative. Ghost Rider pattern is full. Sorry, we're not interested. You cannot pass go. Do not collect $200. All right, a couple days backing up. Let's see what happens. All of a sudden, Juvenile backed that ass up. Came into mind. Gas names. I said watch this on the daily recap because here you go. If these names start turning over a little bit, that to me, they've been leading. Let's call them what they are. I'm mind boggled that these names are holding up really well. Holding up. But now they're starting to get a little tired. Is it profit taking to end the month or quarter? Or is it a top? Volumes are dying. Dead. CVE, been holding up. Talked about this getting to the 2021 area. I don't know why this didn't save, but it seems very highly likely we get into some sort of range up here, right? Why not? Why not us? The NC State basketball rallying cry. Why not us? Why not CVE? I guess you could even say into there, man. All right, let's just, again, we know that typically things don't just one touch and fail. Why not us? Yep, you get it, Joe. Why not us? So why not 2021? I don't know. It's been a good trade if you got in it. Solid. Man, watching solar is like nothing to talk about. All right, let's just jump into tech. The Adobe's of the world. They gap down on earnings. They go nowhere. They chop around, just holding up with the market. Apple is just, why not crush? I mean, this thing looks, I know there's so many trend lines. Good God, I need to clean this up. It looks like that Charlie Day conspiracy theory map that is with all the strings. God, man, this thing is just looking dead. It's not looking right. People should be pounding on this thing. Amazon, riding the lightning. Someone was saying 188, 185, maybe. Meta, it looks like a double top, but it's, again, just holding up, watching the 20-day. Guggenheim trying to get back up here. Alert, alert, alert. Red, put on your, what do you call it, life alert for old folks. Oops, there it is. I mean, we hit it again. If you want to take the trade right here, right now, define your risk. Microsoft, I mean, this one looks like it's breaking out. Then it's just like, this is not what you want to see in a breakout. This is like, it needs Viagra. I feel like I was going to say something dirtier, but I'm like, this is like a Viagra commercial. Like, get it up. Just, this is not what you want to see and trust. Right? NDAQ, man, what? Look at this again. Another wick. Another wiki wick. MicroStrategy, again, if Bitcoin hits up, like, I don't know why it wouldn't get maybe to 2,000, but today's Doji, we've seen these become sandwiches. And again, if you're hungry because it's lunch, Doji sandwich, typically go with the next gap. Netflix, I mean, I'm amazed it has Netflix and Spill. I mean, who's holding on to this? I mean, again, the valuations, what's going on? I mean, all right, sure. The Roblox, we've talked about this one, dead money, chopping around. Dan, any thoughts on pot stocks? I've just never been a big fan of them. This is the thing about pot stocks, and it's a good question, is that like a lot of companies, they price in their future and then they die. And that business model, it's just tough. Pan W chopping around. Because here's like an example of like price in the future, like Tesla. Once they do it, if you got a particular pot stock, let me know. We're going to look at some of the charts. Like, you price in the future, and then you have to actually produce the goods and make money and return money to shareholders and do things right. Post about Tesla today. Like, if you're a bull, you like this gap up, but it needs to hold on. Needs to hold on. I personally, again, the pot stocks to me that I don't know if there's one or two that are actually leading, but we used to watch them and trade them a lot. Some of the regulars aren't around today, which nature of the beast. I mean, they peaked, and when they peaked, I mean, it's just I don't know, they're just dead money. If you have a particular name, I mean, I'm trying to remember some of the names. I mean, again, I took them off. I just took them off. Like, I would stop watching them. Yeah, the NDAQ volume, I mean, I imagine they must have had something. CGC. Yeah, I remember CGC. I might have some lines still drawn on them. Hope this isn't a penny stock. Canopy growth. Yeah, exactly. So this one looks interesting because you definitely got a volume. You definitely have volumes. This is a good one, Bob. But here's the thing. Like, we've been talking about these things being dead. I don't know if they... Fudge, man, this is so bad. Here's remove these. I don't know if there's a catalyst down here. Canopy growth. I mean, didn't they have some sort of like ointment or some shit? I'm trying to remember what they had. I mean, is this the Dan Blazarian one as well? Oh, man. So many broken stories on these things. From the Corona beer guys. Okay, Corona beer guys. Okay. I was going to say, it has to have a catalyst. Man, fuck. 2 to 8. If you're already in it, I mean, I don't know. It's got to get over this area. If you're already in it, I would raise your stops. It's such a cheap company. I mean, this is the thing. We know it's going to pop. It's going to chop around. If people really want it, and this is typically the cycle of this kind of crap, they're going to talk it down. That's what you have to be prepared for, is that if somebody really wants to mark this thing up big coming off the lows, they're going to try to talk it down. And this is where it gets hard, is that if it's getting talked down, you're probably like, well, then it's dead. Well, maybe it's lies. And then that's where it's like, is it? Because think about it. If you and I wanted to corner the stock, we want to get a lot of shares. I mean, obviously you can get them. It'd be easier to talk the stock down. So they're looking to short it, but if it gets hot again, yeah. This one's just been such a dog. These are so hard, man. Big boys telling you and telling the train to come back for them. I mean, I'd probably watch this $5 range, because that's been like a massive support resistance. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense to me, but we'll see. This is what's hard, is at this point, who knows what kind of money the market makers could have been. I don't know. Shit. How long has Corona really been looking at them? Because they could have been building positions in the 4s and 5s. It's a good one. Keep an eye on. Looking to short it, but if it gets hot again, oh man, these are tough. Man, these are so tough, because they just, I mean, if you're a short, why would you be short these anymore? Like, it's like, gotta get a 0. All right, gotta get, like, again, like the trade's over. Just if you're a short, like, just move on. Unless you have some sort of position you have to hedge, like through, say you're worried about the debt and you're a debt holder, yeah, shorting the stock would be the best way to hedge your bets. So interesting. Let me go back to Tesla. Good. I appreciate the questions. Please interrupt. Tesla got to hold up. SMCI, we've talked about this one getting over 1,000. I don't know why then it might not rally back up to, I don't know, 1153. Yeah, Constellation Brands still owns CGC, right? Oh, yeah, that's right. They partnered on that. It's been a while, man. Like, I haven't been thinking about weed in a while, especially the stocks. I'd watch this area around 1070s. Got to get over it. Intel, we talked about this thing. It's been a dog. And then you throw in all sorts of funness with China. Cutting them out. Can I say that and that without people getting offended? AM Dizzle, same thing. Like, watching this 180 area. No good. Sorry, getting a text about some stuff. Micron, again, Macron. I'm impressed it's holding up. I know this China stuff helps. I mean, their earnings. I mean, everybody's talking about AI. It's just, man, how late to the game are we when you talk about that stuff? I'm just trying to find, like, what's the angle of ascension? You know, what's the market cap on these things? What do you think? I mean, again, I don't know what the proper way to value these ends. I mean, again, if we go hyperinflation, then maybe stocks still are cheap. Maybe they still are. Really nothing here. It's just been a boomer. Don't step in front of that one. NVIDIA watching the 940. Told you on the 10-minute if you're following on Twitter. You can see it on the 10. Watching this area. Feels like hyperinflation for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's out of the question. I just feel like in front of an election year, I don't know how the current administration doesn't own it completely, 1,000%, and look like idiots. So that's why I feel like the Feds are going to be like pressured to do something. Taiwan semi, again, stuck here. Yeah, if they drop rates, oh my God. Like, they're scared. I mean, they know. They can't. That's where it makes sense to me that there's going to be some volatility. Like, it's like such a gift down here. And this, like, I mean, this is crazy. Almost just chopping around like a gift. Like, nobody, again, people talked about this too, sucking out the volatility. And congrats to those who, man, nailed that. That's wild. That is wild to me. Because, again, I don't think the Feds can. JP Mo just recommended VIX calls. Oh, God. Oh, God. Damn it. Maybe it's going to be here a while. I mean, obviously, you should definitely. I mean, I would be hedging positions. Someone's, Joe, talking about KOLD. I mean, I like the short up here. I don't see how natural gas has much downside. This is one of those things where, like, if you could do like 100 shares and just leave it alone, and it not gonna break the bank on you if it moves $1 to, like, because I could see this thing pop in 10 points if the market gets crushed and like they just crush commodities real quick. That's where I could see this thing getting, like, but when you zoom out, you go, this is like the easiest trade of all time. Like, look at every pop on this dog. I mean, I don't know when to tell you. It's going to mean, again, if you short 100 shares, you're going to make $5,000 at some point easily. That's my opinion on it. It's just, will you be down $1,000? I don't know. $2,000. You could be if shit gets crazy. Excuse my language. What is it? Did I go over MicroStrategy? Yeah. Again, I think this is 2,000. It makes sense. It's interesting watching like VALE, just nothing down here. Just ag names. I mean, obviously they've been stuck. But looking at the XLF today, it's like, come on, get the fudge out of here. Not surprised it gets a little bounce on the 8 and 10 day, but it's like, come on. Come the hell on. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? Any question? Interested to see, again, how it kind of, I mean, the volumes are so light. This is dangerous. Meaning dangerous like anything is possible here. Any catalyst. Love your idea on Nat Gus. What would be your favorite pick? Again, I don't, this is where I struggle with the companies, because I've seen in credit crises, credit issues, like market washouts. This happens a lot where the actual like miners, the actual drillers, the actual companies get drilled. Because when they get, I mean, because again, they're going to be caught in the S&P, they're caught in all of the, just again, they're part of the market flows. And when you see it, you just go, oh, okay. And it's like, again, I like EQT. I like a lot of some of these names, some of these gas names. And it's just, yeah, I mean, I just let them get punched around a little bit. That's my thing. Watching FedEx again, it's not really bouncing. Watching this gap fill. Trying to think of any other like obvious trades. Kind of watching XBI here. It's like, man, this thing will fill the gap. I mean, we talk about junior bios, love low rates, nice bounce. When you zoom out, they're still, I don't know, they're not cheap by any means. Any other thoughts, questions? Again, watching the housing stocks, like those don't make sense up here. Everyone's waiting for low rates. It's like, okay, good luck with that. Low rates, I mean, not anytime soon unless things get crushed. And then if things get crushed, we know the cycle. Those same people who say, oh, I'm waiting for low rates, they're just not going to act. So, right? What do you do? What do you do, right? At this point, I mean, you gotta. I mean, again, I'm not making fun of these people, but you've got to be careful. TLT. TLT. My thoughts on it are just, again, the Fed day range. That's what I'm watching. Great question. Great question. So obviously, the Fed day range is this big damn doji here, but it's not even that big. The better, I guess, that I'm watching this gap here at 93s. If it fills it and then bounces, this makes sense though, because again, if the Feds want deflation, they want, again, I keep going back to this thought, like the only way in hell, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, is that the only way in hell is that a credit issue, that's the only way they're going to get through without inflation. You know? That's the only way. Those are my thoughts. I mean, when you watch it, you just, again, end of quarter. Just looking at it, just thinking like, downward wedging. Watching this range, I don't know if there's much downside. It's getting tight. That is for damn sure. Very tight. It's kind of laughing at Starbucks. Someone's like, hey, you want a coffee? I'm like, always. This thing is toast. Any other thoughts, questions? Again, Brian, I appreciate you asking, because again, this is where I think this helps. Because this is where I love to answer the question. China. Good question. China is a tough one because we know China's toast. And I love this question because I think this is where China's trying to build up their supply chains. I heard they're stockpiling. And this is the thing. People talking about like buying this economy down here. Ugh. I mean, your guess is as good as mine as like the actual their index, but we do know that people are not paying their debts there. We know that they're having credit issues. We know that they overbill. We know that your money's not safe there. So again, I think it made sense why people were buying the dip down here. But yeah, it's like, okay. This is one of those trades where, I mean, I was looking at some of these trend lines, like just kind of in my mind. I And could you get up into the 27s? I don't know. This thing is so steep. I mean, you could argue a million different things here. Like, there's like a trend within the trend. You see this thing? It's like, is that it? I don't know. Great question. Because again, this is the thing. It's like everything that's going on in the world right now, it doesn't make sense that everything can work out well for these fellas, champions, friends. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Again, shout out to Brian Davison for asking a lot of great questions. I appreciate your interactions and just supporting the channel by getting involved. I know if you got, again, I've been so busy and I apologize. My life has been crazy, as a lot of you guys know, dealing with, if you've listened this far, then you're probably a friend. You know, going on with my personal life, wife stuff, still living apart, trying to figure it out, getting through tax season, I got multiple deals going on for real estate, which again, I love helping people out with that stuff. Like, it really is a passion of mine. Because again, real estate, even with the NAR settlement, it's like, don't give a shit. It's still a good long-term investment in my mind. And especially if we keep letting in half of the fucking world, real estate prices are not going to be able to drop for long if they do. So, always here to help. If you have any questions, I appreciate all the love, the patience, and the good times. Oh man, I'm heading out, Josh. I was going to wrap it up. So, I appreciate you guys. Have a great afternoon. I will talk to you guys and gals later. Check out we'll definitely do a daily market review. So, again, I apologize for the late drop on this one, but we'll do another one soon. Y'all have a good one. Peace.